welcome to another episode of Carney and Coach, your a youth sports podcast. I'm Steve Carney, the resident parent, also known as the best dad ever, and with me is Greg Younger, aka Coach, aka Old Greg. Today, Greg and I decided to do a season one recap. Just kind of talk about our thoughts about how season one went, and potentially some ideas about season two. So without any further ado, Greg, how did you feel season one went?
I think it went well. We're still standing. We're still here. So that's good, and there's like 4 or 5 people who really like like the episodes. Like we got a few fans, but yeah, it was good. It's been a little while since we chatted. So it feels good to get back and get after it a little bit. So I think we alluded to the fact that the first time around we sort of taped them and then sort of released them slowly over time. So it's been a minute since we've connected. So it feels good to get back in the chair and chat, but I think it went really good. It's fun. So, who cares what other people think, right?
Right. Yeah, I would say I probably had some pretty high expectations for season one. I was ready to be a instant success.
Mm-hmm.
Have Joe Rogan on in episode 3 or something like that. But all in all, I would really say that I think I learned a lot. It's a little bit harder than I had expected, but I feel a lot more comfortable with some of the stuff that we're doing. Like just I know you and I are doing the editing and some of the creating ourselves, so there's a bit of a challenge there. But I think the content was fun. I really enjoy just the back and forth dialogue, talking about kids sports like we always do.
Right.
I'm excited about season 2. I think that we're going to try a couple new things, maybe try to be a little more dynamic, a little more up to date, which will be fun. But so hopefully season 2, season 1, like we're doing these in seasons like we've talked about because we're talking about sports. What we call season 1 was our rookie season.
Our rookie year. It was and like any good rookie season, we learned a lot.
Yeah, that's right. We missed a few balls, fell down a couple times, but we kept getting up. So I think season 2 is going to be fun. I definitely enjoy it. You and I had talked about podcasting for a long time. You had done one before. I had never done it. I always thought that I would like it, and I did. I did have fun. So looking forward to whatever we have in store for the next episode.
Yes.
So we kind of connected offline, you and I, and we said, hey, what topics worked? What topics do we want to cover next? Do we want to go deeper into anything? And you were keeping a list, like a kind of a long running list of just you and I were texting back and forth. So maybe let's like a couple of those you want to just maybe like kind of throw out there, but we also want any of our 4, maybe 5. I do want to address that for a second. We got like 20 on YouTube. We had about 20 something subscribers, which I mean, I think one of those is my mom, which is fine. You know what? I don't care. It's fine. It's great.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
More than 4. And
5 is more than 0, so that's good.
And I think did we ever hit? Did we hit like 75
downloads or something like that? Yeah, I'd have to go back. I haven't looked at the numbers, but yeah, we got close to 100. So it's baby steps, right?
Right.
Yeah. 80 downloads, baby. Watch out.
That's not. I think
after this recap, maybe we'll hit 100. Boom.
I think for 2 dudes who just decided to talk about some kids sports, it's not too bad.
So, yeah. You'll remember us when we grow up big and strong. So I think today, the point of the podcast, and I think we're still like learning, like we're still trying to figure stuff out. We're open to feedback and suggestions but I think overall what we're trying to do is bring some I mean, what's the word we're trying to do? It's just, you're not alone out there. Like youth athletics in America is crazy and it can be really hard to navigate. And, there's cuts and there's teams and there's playing time and there's debauchery sometimes on the sidelines and there's fighting with refs and, there's just craziness, right? Like all the
Yeah.
time, my middle son has finished, reffing like the last few weekends. Every time he comes home from a reffing deal, he's got a story, right? Story to just tell of a parent or a coach doing something crazy, right? So it's just a little wild and crazy out there. So I think like all we're trying to do is try to help, try to bring some levity to the situation, humanize it, try to bring some perspective, and some stories, and however we can help navigate the youth athletics landscape. That's what we're here to do. We're both experienced in it. You from a parent perspective, me from a coach perspective. We're both still in the middle of it, right? We're still in the middle. We're in the trenches with our kids, coaching and being dads. And so, so we're here to help. We're here to, and hopefully do it in a fun and kind of interesting way. Just stuff that we think's interesting, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I think as we start thinking about some of these topics for season 2, we'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear people's, thoughts. If you have ideas of things that that you'd like to hear from us, let us know. We'll probably talk about it. Most likely, any suggestion you make, we'll absolutely hammer it out. So one idea that we had, I really love this idea, and we've got at least 2 of our kiddos on board with this, is to bring some of our kids on the line. So, a lot of this is us parents and us coaches talking about youth athletics. And I think it would be really interesting to think about what does youth athletics look like from the eyes of, 14-year-olds or 11-year-olds or whatever. And so, I'm not sure how much we'll get our kids involved, but having our kids be involved a little bit, I think it'd be super interesting as we can kind of pepper them with questions, because I think, their perspective is what matters. Right. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
really matters. And so,
Right.
how many times have you really asked your kids about it? And so, 2 of our sons are super close. And so I think it'd be fun to get the 4 box going on here and have us all hop on and chat. So, getting the kids involved. Another idea we have, a lot of youth in America, especially on the boys' side, there's a lot of gaming that goes on. I know parents constantly are asking themselves, what do you do with gaming? How much is too much, too little? How do you incorporate it into your sports and some of the other activities? I've got some older kids, and so I might be able to provide some perspective on that. Because when they're young, I don't know, you get this feeling like you're out of control as a parent. I can assure you, you're not. We wanted to talk a little bit about maybe some parent behavior on the sidelines. There's a fairly famous book called the Mancini Manifesto, which is a really interesting take on parent behavior and coaching. And I think it would be an opportunity for us to do a deep dive on that. How to deal with disruptive parents, how to coach your son and daughter. The other one I really like is the We Screwed Up episode. I mean,
Yes.
right? So many things that we do as parents, as coaches, that we've messed up. And again, I could go on and on about all the mistakes that we've made. And I think it helps, again, to sort of bring some levity and some humanization to what we're doing when we realize that neither one of us are perfect. That's for sure.
Well, far from it, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
So
And
those
I
are a
just want,
few that we have, and I'm sure you've got some other ideas as well.
no, I mean, I think those are all great. I think that, again, I think we really want to hear from the audience in this if we can. Those are just topics that we think are interesting. Ultimately, we want to know what you, the audience, wants to hear because, well, we want to grow and we want to talk about what's relevant to you. So I just wanted to hit on a couple things, right? Like feedback is important to both Greg and I. And, again, we're trying to keep this very positive, and very, like you said, Greg, try to make it an environment where parents can come and learn and listen and maybe get a deeper perspective on maybe how to navigate all this stuff and just take a step back, de-stress. And so what are you thinking of? What's top of mind for you? Definitely want to go on Instagram, and you can message the Carney and Coach Instagram page. Both Greg and I have access there. We'll get the questions. We're not going to share anything. We'll be anonymous and all that. If you feel like you want to comment on our episodes on YouTube, by all means do that. I know a lot of people say don't read the comments, but I think we're reading them. There was one, so we read it.
Yeah, we're definitely reading the comments. No doubt about it. Nothing else to do.
Yeah, and so the other thing too, and just from I think long term, yes, we want to de-stress. I know a lot of parents also. I think we want to try to hear from. I'd like to hear from some other parents. We had Dr. Shane Bates on last season, which I thought was one of my favorite episodes. Just to get another person on there. I think we'd like to have somebody else on who has a different perspective. I got a person in mind, but I don't know if she's available or not. We'll have to find out. And then, also, if you're a coach and you have something that you want to know, by all means, just throw it out there, right? We want all those perspectives, and we want to learn as much as we want to talk about this stuff. We want to kind of learn together. So yeah, we have some topics, we have some ideas, but just knowing that the idea for the podcast is just to bring all this stuff to light, to try to help de-stress and navigate all this in a positive way that our kids, because ultimately my goal for my kids, and I think for you, Greg, is for our kids to grow up, enjoy the sports that they're playing, and they can pass that on to their kids if that, and just kind of keep that going so they can have a love for athletics.
So. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep. I love, the Bates episode was fantastic. Hopefully we'll get him back on again. I know there was plenty that we could have chatted with him that we just didn't get to. So yeah, that's, it's all good. How's youth athletics going for you? How's the seasons going?
Right. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about how Elliot was taking a big step up. And I think, and I'll even say doing this podcast has actually helped me because, like you always like to joke and tease me. I have not gone up to the dugout. I've not yelled at him. Hey, Elliot, do this, do that. Not once this season.
No fifth inning high five just to walk over and say, hey, keep that right arm up, none of that.
That's right. No, nice. None of that. And I've seen him struggle, and it's been real, real hard for me. But I haven't done it. I'm letting him kind of learn on his own. He's had some ups and he's had some downs. It is a big step up. I think he put a whole lot of pressure on himself. And so what I see is him putting the pressure on him. I don't have to add anything else, right? Like it's already So a lot of our conversation is all about, hey, let's de-stress. Let's take a step back. What do you want to work on? Like I'll be an enabler for you rather than me pointing out what you're doing wrong. So as far as that goes, it's good. I think, I don't know if she had done it yet, but Grace, she quit gymnastics. So I think we talked about that too, right? Like an episode of
when is it okay to quit? Yep.
Yeah. And funny enough, she walked in and she said, "Hey, Dad, I want to talk to you," and was real sheepish about it and just said, I think I want to quit gymnastics. And my reaction was like, okay, just very chill. And then a couple of weeks later, she said, "Hey, Dad, can you get me a volleyball?" Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Got her a volleyball. Now she wants to play volleyball, and I haven't done anything, right? That's all just her own drive. And so it's good to see that. And then CC doing soccer, and Ben, he's doing baseball. So they're little still. They're having fun. They're hanging out. There is a story about Ben's baseball team, one of the parents, but maybe I'll hold that for a future episode.
we got to keep some stuff on the the background.
I'll just say,
for some content.
6 years old is a little bit too soon to get
too intense,
serious, about anything. So, but what about you? How's
well, I was just gonna say, from a coaching perspective, gosh, I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like those were the years that I think sometimes were the worst, because parents can just be way out of whack at that age, and you're just like, it's like they're 8, like relax. So I can hardly wait to hear the story. And
you'd be proud of me though. You'd be proud of me. I mean, at his games, I just sit there. I just sit back and chill, and he does a pretty good job. I mean, they're 6 years old. They're actually they had to compete up into pitching machine. He should be doing coach pitch, but nobody else signed up for it, so they moved him up. And he gets hits like every game, and everybody else knows that I have an older boy that plays, and so they're always like, "Hey, Ben's real good. Does he like baseball a lot?" And I'm like, he's
I
not.
don't
I mean, I
know.
guess they're
Yep.
like, "Does he
Yeah.
practice all? Does he play a lot?" I was like, "He plays a lot of Xbox," and just and so I think mine's just blown. I just have this like whatever opinion about it. So I don't know. It's kind of
that's
funny,
that's the benefit of some experience too, right?
right?
As
Yeah.
each child goes lower. Yeah, all good here in the coach side. I'm actually not coaching a team at the moment, although I just signed up for a winter league, so I'll be doing some coaching over the winter, but that's good. Boys are all busy. My youngest is playing flag football, and fifth grade. Fifth grade, it's flag. It's through the YMCA. Let me ask you this, Carney. The coach has an offense and a defense. And clearly, the best athletes play offense, and the not as good of athletes will sit out some on the defense. And then the athletes that aren't as strong play all time defense, but they don't ever get to play offense. What do you think about that? What do you think about fifth grade
I think it's
flag?
terrible.
Terrible.
It's
Okay.
absolutely terrible. Yeah, I think that everybody should be playing. I think
Offense
that
and defense, right?
yeah, those kids need to become athletes and they need
Yeah.
to do it through trial by fire. They need to get out there. They need to get burnt by somebody. They need to struggle a bit. They need to play. Elliot, my oldest, like I guess it was 9, which is fifth grade is like 10 or 11, right? So like, but a year younger, just got pigeonholed into outfield or something like that. And I'm like, what are we doing? Right. I mean,
Right.
these boys and girls, they haven't gone through puberty. They need to be out there playing. Now, you shouldn't put, a tiny guy on the offensive line. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
just saying that you need to let all these kids play.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case. And again, we can have more chats about it. But yeah, those are always interesting discussions, right? When you have with your kid who comes home and and here's the truth about it. My kid was all over playing football. He was, in the backyard, loving it, playing with me, asking me to throw the ball around, playing with his brothers, all in, right? And now, because this coach won't let him play one single snap on offense, nothing. I mean, won't let him snap it, won't let him play wide receiver, won't let him play quarterback, won't let him do anything offensively. How much do you think my son wants to play football right now?
Probably
Zero.
zero.
Zilch. Yeah. So, and it's the Y, right? Like, come on. It's the YMCA, right? But yeah, we should, you always have that kind of that struggle back and forth because, he's in fifth grade. So, they're not 8 anymore, and so, and next year here in Middle Tennessee, they all will and can play middle school sports. And I can tell you this, middle school is win or nothing. I mean, middle school is old school. Like kids will ride the bench all year and just never play once, right? And it's just like, well, you've got to be better,
Yeah.
So it's very old school. So I don't know. I can kind of go back and forth, and it's kind of like, I definitely don't want to get involved as a parent. I don't want to like call this coach up and be like, what are you doing?
You want me to call him up?
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I don't know if it's terrible or not. I guess maybe. I mean, I don't agree with it, but like, it's almost like, what are you going to do? Like, it's almost like I look at my youngest Max and I just go, I don't know what to say. You're just gonna have to deal with it, And I guess maybe that's a little different too. Like maybe for my oldest, I'd be like calling the coach or like all in or just telling my oldest like, well, you just got to get and work at it or whatever. Whereas with my youngest, I'm just like, this is called life. I don't know what to tell you. It's completely unfair, and wait till you're 45 because it's still unfair. So I don't know. That's sort of the evolution there of it, but it is I think it's unfortunate that the coach is moved in that direction, but I don't know. I don't
Well,
really feel compelled to do much about it.
so I probably know the answer already, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway. Did the coach set any expectations at the beginning of the season?
I don't think so. Not around that type of stuff.
Then that's where I would have the problem with it. I would say, hey, coach, okay, I get it. Erase the fact that you're from the Y, which, by the way, if they're playing for the Y, like the whole purpose is for them to learn the game,
I
have
know
fun, do all
this
this other
this
stuff.
league is low key aggressively like competitive though. Like I will just say that like there are some good kids and some good teams.
Congratulations, it's still
But
the
yes,
Y.
I hear you. I hear you. No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
So yeah, no, I mean, and that's usually my problem up front is that if the
Yeah.
coach doesn't set expectations, then you make your own.
Yeah, I know.
Whereas if he says, "Hey, by the way, we're going to be real competitive. We're going here to win." I mean, Elliott's new coach. We went to a big tournament down in Mississippi, and he said, "Hey, I'm going down here to coach to win." And so
At
I
least you
had an
know.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew if he doesn't play, it's because he's whatever. So that's important to me, and I think that there's developmental leagues for a reason, and I would put the Y generally into that category as a developmental league.
Yeah.
And I think that we need those. And for people, like your youngest who maybe never played football before or whatever, how else are they going to learn and love a game whenever they're not playing it?
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, leave
hot
a
take.
comment. Leave a comment. Let me know what should I do. Should I reach out to this coach and say something, or should I let Max navigate it himself? I mean, I have told Max like, well, have you told your coach that you want to play? And he's like, yeah, every practice, and at practice he gets to play, but just not in the games. I
Mm,
said, okay, well, deal with it.
well, there
So
might be some of that too.
leave a comment in the notes. Let me know. We'll send something out on social media. And should I fire this coach up or what? Should we let Carney fire him up? Like I could be
I
Carney.
love firing up coaches.
Like
I
hey,
love it,
hey,
dude.
you don't know me. My name is Carney, and I'm I
I
co-host
have a platform.
I co-host a podcast, and let me just tell you something. What you're doing to Coach Younger's son is wrong, and I expect some changes.
Oh, and by the way, so on that same topic though, I think we did have an idea of an episode around that too, like fair play and sportsmanship, which
Yo, yeah,
I pinged you about. I'll
yeah.
just leave this hot take here. Carney did fire up a coach of the opposing team, uh,
Look
and
out.
you and you know what? I thought about it real long and hard before I did it, and I did it anyway. And
Oh
you know what?
yes.
I wish I would have gone harder, but we can definitely go into that
Oh, well,
later.
we
I'm not
will.
gonna,
We will. We will.
but for
Okay. Dude,
sure,
I'm all jacked up for season 2. Carney, it's
right
gonna be
on.
good. It's gonna be good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So definitely want to say this before we close out. Okay. So on YouTube, there's a little button on the bottom side of the corner. That's the subscribe button. Please, please,
Subscribe.
please hit that. Like the episodes. That helps our stuff kind of get out there further to a wider audience. It's really easy to do, and if you agree with what Greg and I are doing, then obviously hit that. If you don't, that's fine. You just don't have to listen again.
Yeah.
Then we got we got Apple Podcasts, right? We're on there,
Yep.
and
Apple
we're
and
on
Spotify.
Spotify.
Yep.
Yep. And then I think we have a bunch of social media. I think we're gonna pare it down, right? We're gonna
Yep.
go
Just Instagram.
just
Yep.
Instagram. Yeah.
For
So
now. Yep.
if you want to message us, or the other thing too is I really like a lot of the reels on there. I know they're like 2 weeks after TikTok, but whatever. I'm old, so it doesn't really matter. If you see some reels about content, like, hey, this is really good. I think you should talk about it. Do that. You see something good that you just think would be good for us to know about and see, do it.
Set
Like
it
we want
on.
to engage more with the audience this year. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
are
Let's
we
do it.
good?
Yep. All is good. Carney, let's rock.
All right, man. Season 2. Let's do it. First episode should be dropping in about 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We'll talk to you guys then. We're out.